Good morning. Welcome to Nutley Cisco Academy. I will be teaching you today telnetting. This is meant for Nutley Cisco students. So if you are not a Nutley Cisco student, you can still also enjoy this. So here's where we get started. I need you to pick out a 1941 router in the packet tracer and drop it onto the desktop. After that, I want you to find a Cisco 2960 switch. Also, drop it onto the desktop. And finally, I want you to get an end device, which is a generic PC. And please drop that on the desktop. Now we need to make a few connections. First connection we're going to make is we're going to take a straight cable, connecting it to the router through its gigabit Ethernet 0 port. And I'm going to click it and connect it to the gigabit Ethernet 01 port. It will be red because at this point in time, the interface is not on. Next, I'm going to click on another straight cable. I'm going to connect it to the fast Ethernet 0 and connect it to the fast Ethernet 0 on this one. Right now I'm displaying all the names. If you're not sure how to do this part of the activity, you go to Options and Preferences. Check the interface and make sure all these boxes in the front, left side are all on. It just makes life a little easier for you, and check the box that says Show Link Lights. It makes it look pretty. Okay, for a telnet session, you need a few things. One, you need some IP addresses that you can connect to. So we're going to run the entire IP chain for this, which means we're going to put an IP address on the PC, a switch, and the router. So we're going to use the entire gambit. So I'm going to label this out for you right now. The numbers we're going to use for today is going to be 192.168.1.1. That is going to be the default gateway for the router. We're going to give the switch also an address. We're going to make it the second address, which is 192.168.1.2, which will be the VLAN address on the switch. Last but not least, we're going to give the PC 192.168.1.3. That'll be the PC's address. We're going to use the default subnet mask, which is 255.255.255.0. Or /24. All right. We're going to do these connections by starting from the PC. If you were actually working on a real network, you cannot just click on a piece of equipment and the thing pops open for you. This is not Tony Stark's Avenger movies and Iron Man movies. You have to actually make a true connection. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the console cable, which is in our lightning bolt section. So I'm going to click on the console cable and I'm going to click it and put it into the old RS-232 console port connection. I'm going to connect it directly into the switch's console port. So now I should have this nice blue cable sitting here. If it goes up or down, it does not matter. If you put it closed, they look like they're the same line. So spreading it out, you'll see a slight arc or curve to it. Click on the PC and go to the desktop tab. The desktop tab, we're going to click on IP configuration. And we're going to put the IP addresses in that we agreed to. Well, actually, I just did. 192.168.1.3. Subnet mask will come up by default because we're using a Class C address. And we're going to put the default gateway in, which is the router, which is 192.168.1.1. There's the router right there. There's the number I put in. To help you out, try to label it as much as you can. It'll just make life easier if someone has to come around and check what you have done. Also, make a notepad file, which I will work through as we go along. Click X on this and go to the terminal. This is a packet tracer, so if you're familiar with packet tracers, this is the hyper terminal. So keep all the defaults the way they are. Don't make any changes that don't need to be made. Press OK. You will get into the switch. All right. At this point, there's nothing configured on the switch. The switch name is just switch. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to enable it. Enable, I will hit enter. The greater than sign has changed to a pound sign. So we've changed modes. Now we're going to configure this. So configure terminal, which gets us into starting to work on the router and, the switch, and tell it what we needed to do. So let's do our line consoles. Line console 0. I'm going to set the login. I'm going to set the password as Cisco, and for the login. So if you're connecting through a console port, you will be prompted with a password. Next, we're going to set up the line Vty on the switch. So line Vty 0 through 15. Enter. Password Cisco. Login. And last but not least, the command that many people, when the first time they're doing this, they forget this command. Trust me, I've done it enough times. Each time I've done this activity, it's usually about a year apart, so I forget to put this line in. So I made myself a note. Don't forget the line, enable password. I'm going to keep it all Cisco, just for consistency purposes right now. So we've done our basic configuration to get our console ports and our virtual terminals set with a password Cisco. This information I will take and put it up on a notepad and attach it to the screen. Okay, the next we're going to do is we're going to set up an interface, well, a virtual interface, which is a VLAN. So we're going to type in interface, shortcuts, interface, VLAN 1. And we're going to put the IP address. IP address 192.168.1.2. And the subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. And that should be fine. I will put the no shutdown command in and hit enter. As you see, the interface is now up and the protocol is now running. So we are fine and dandy with this piece of equipment. So to shortcut your way out, hit Control Z. Will pop you back here. At this point, we are finished with this piece of equipment. So we're going to close this up and we are going to get to our packet tracer once again, and we're going to pull out the console port from the switch and connect it directly into the router's console port. Clicking back onto the PC and clicking on the terminal. Once again, do not make any changes. Press OK. You will get the configuration dialog, which will say, would you like to enter the initial configuration dialog? You're going to choose no. If you're one of my students, never choose yes. That's a bad idea. It'll just cause you problems later. All right, press enter and get started. We are at router greater than sign. We're going to enable the router. We are going to configure the terminal. And we're going to use the same set of commands we used before. So we're going to type in line console 0, password Cisco, login, line Vty 0 through 4, not 0 through 15. This is a router, not a switch. Password Cisco, login, and enable password Cisco. And now we're going to do the interface, which we're going to do interface, which is G00. run it.